This week, you might say the theme is school, or what we do when it lets out.
We'll start by introducing you to a new charter school that lots of us are just beginning to learn about, the Crossroads Academy. Sponsored by the University of Central Missouri, it's wrapping up its first year in operation, offering grades K through 5. Eventually, they'll expand to K through 8.
But despite the name, you won't find it in the Crossroads. This school that embraces what they term 21st century learning is actually smack dab in the middle of downtown.
We didn't even determine at the very beginning that we were going to be downtown. The original question was, what are the characteristics of the perfect school? And so we talked about that a lot.
We toured a lot of schools. And we went to Chicago, to St. Louis. I visited schools in New York and just tried to see what they were, the high-performing schools, what were they doing?
The basic model for us is that every student is spending every minute of the day with an exceptional teacher studying a rigorous curriculum in a creative and focused classroom.
Who'd I call next? Elizabeth. Tracker.
Many of those teachers had worked previously with Tycee and Dean at another charter school, Gordon Parks Elementary. They jumped at the opportunity to teach a diverse student body from an ambitious curriculum using what's known as Common Core standards. And because the school sits literally right behind the Lyric Theater, take full advantage of downtown's cultural and civic amenities. Every day, classes can be seen streaming down Central to take recess at Barney Alice Plaza, or heading down 10th to visit the Central Library. A heartwarming sight for Library Director and Downtown Council member Crosby Kemper III.
When we poll the Downtown Neighborhood Association and residents downtown, the one thing they want, it's the top of the list, is a school. The 20-somethings who move downtown for the excitement of downtown end up having little somethings, and there's no place for those little somethings to go. And now with Crossroads, we have that.
I wasn't sure we'd ever have a school. I was hopeful, but I wasn't sure. And when I realized it was happening, it was sort of like a dream come true.
It was Phil Kirk's real estate savvy that helped the Crossroads Academy find its home. Currently, they're paying DST $1 a month for the building, which last housed 360 Architecture, the very same building where almost a century ago, a young Walt Disney walked these halls working his first job in the movie business. It's taken considerable renovation, and while there's still not quite what you'd call a gym, even with 190 kids packed inside, this non-traditional space seems to be working. Overtime. The school day here runs from 8 to 4, and that's not all.
We have a long school year. We have 194 school days compared to most schools in the state, which are 174 school days. So all totaled, students at Crossroads Academy are going to school 37% more time than what the state requires.
People who tour our school say, how are the kids so calm, but your teachers don't have to scream at the kids. You know, your teachers don't have to, you know, how they write the name on the board and put a check if they're being naughty or something. They don't have to do that because the kids know here are the rules, and the things that they are doing in class, they have a purpose. Students start to have trouble and make poor choices when they don't see value through their work.
So today we're going to fold paper and identify that folded edge, because it's going to be important where the fold is. I know that the arts were really important to both Dean and Tycee, and so I'm a full-time art teacher teaching to every class twice a week, which doesn't happen. It's just, it is really important. And that way my fish gets a lot bigger. And so later when we cut that out, I'm not trying to create 190 artists that don't go on to be art school students in college, but I want them to be able to appreciate it.
So much visual stimuli so close by is an art teacher's dream. Not to mention the potential partnerships that develop down here, like the one with the Quality Hill Playhouse, where Crossroads Theater classes are staging their musical, and the Kansas City Ballet. Students visit the Bolander Center weekly for movement training. Or even the gallery at the Roastery. which recently hosted a First Friday exhibition of artwork produced by Lisa Gann's classes.
We have one of the most highly developed and developing cultural scenes in the United States in downtown Kansas City. You know, talk about broadening horizons, talking about aspirational. Dean saw that and communicated his vision to a lot of us who said, "Amen, brother."
We know that kids can show how they learn in drawing and painting and things like that. And so it's not just students have to show how they know things through a certain mode. Kids can show how they know things throughout the school day. Okay, so here are the standards and the skills per quarter, you know.
Here's something most of us have never seen before, a 6-page report card. Instead of the usual A's, B's, C's, and D's, the Academy breaks down each subject to specific skills that students must prove they've mastered, all the while stressing to them a quartet of character skills that, in the long run, will help build a better person in and out of the classroom.
The teachers do have these data teams, and they meet to look at how students are showing growth. And so our teachers have to have team skills, and they have to be able to let colleagues help them. You know, it's not like these are my kids and you can't help me.
We've been able to create in this very first year a critical mass of great educators. And I think one of the things that teachers are very attracted to is that opportunity to work with other great teachers and that opportunity to work with a great principal.
One of the things we're very proud of is the cost per student that we created this facility for. It's very, very economical. This has been a very cost-effective endeavor, and that means more resources for the kids.
There were some kids who took a while to kind of learn this new culture, but we have found that those kids are doing great now, you know, because kids need structure. And if you put a student who is struggling through a school who is struggling, then the kid's going to struggle even more.
I like to come down and see it when the kids are arriving. I don't go in, but it's just fun to see them. And then I hear from all kinds of people how much joy it brings them to see young kids downtown. You know, it's just very, very pleasant.
Go, look!
Crossroads Academy, by the way, defines the boundaries of downtown for its student body as the Missouri River to Linwood, state line to Woodland. Classes for next year, including the 6th grade they'll be adding, are already filled up. There is a waiting list.